Most of the time when I play tabletop games, I'm the one running the game. And as many dungeon masters experience, you oftentimes get stuck in that role. What can make things even worse is when you have tons and tons and tons of bad player experiences. So the important takeaway is if you have bad experiences when you play games, never do these things to your players if you did not enjoy them yourself. In other words, do not pay it forward. I'm going to generally try and organize these things from least bad to most bad, getting progressively worse as we continue. And then I will also be mentioning what to do about these things when you're running a game yourself. Number 1 on our list, metagaming against the player. This could be, in theory, very egregious. Learning what the player's plans are that they're saying amongst each other at the table and then instantly planning against those instead of letting them naturally unfold. What happened to me was actually more minor. Having a dungeon master that rolls dice behind the screen, you don't really know what it is exactly they're rolling. And if you're playing a mage with a shield spell, you don't get to ask your dungeon master, what exactly did you roll to hit my mage? Because I might use the shield spell, but I might not. The dungeon master I was playing with, of course, wouldn't answer that, nor should they. However, when the shoe was on the other foot, they had a mage that I hit. They wanted to know what I rolled to hit. I was like, oh, well, it's above the 14, which we've established is the mage's AC. And they were like, yeah, but what exactly did you roll? I was like, well, I rolled an 18. Oh, well, in that case, they're going to use shield. This wasn't the worst thing that I've experienced as a player, but it was really annoying. That just kind of goes to show a certain level of imbalance. And it is a rare instance where you have a dungeon master who is essentially metagaming against a player, which is something I never hear talked about, but is definitely a reality. Number 2 on our list, giving in to that player. Oh, we have all done this at some point. As a game master or dungeon master, you want to make sure your players are having a good time. So you typically have an instinct to say, sure, I'll trust you, go ahead and do that. As a player, if you are sitting down at a table with that guy, we all have played with that guy before. The power gamer, the person who has to be the best at everything, has to know everything, has to rules lawyer everything. When you give in to that guy, it is horrible for everybody at the table. I had that guy who asked for a magic item. We all do this sometimes. I've done it. You know, I've got like a +1 or +2 short sword disguised as a cane sword. And it did a little bit extra damage. It was there to offset a half-caster who wasn't particularly good. And one of the players saw that, and they decided to browbeat the game master into giving them a legendary +3 sword. They were able to make 9 attacks on their turn. It did so much damage that not only did it imbalance the game, but we all had to sit there and wait while this guy rolled die after die after die after die. And it would be 2 minutes on our turns, and it would be 10 to 20 minutes on his turn. That was horrible for everybody at the table. We were all miserable. We were all bored, and we were all sick of him. We were sick of his attitude. I felt really bad for the person running it, because they had done that with the good trust that they were not going to give themselves anything that busted, and that trust was broken. So it was just a terrible experience for everybody. Once again, mostly feel bad for the game master, but I also felt bad for me. Waiting 10 to 20 minutes for your turn to come back to you when you only had 3 people at the table, that is painful. If you are a new game master, you might not be able to recognize that guy. If you have any time running games, you will immediately recognize that guy. The solution is don't give in, ever. I've been guilty of giving in to that guy. Anytime you do, they never are grateful. They will try and take that inch and they will try and go a mile. It's not fair to the other players and it's not fair to you. So shut them down. And if they keep pushing, first talk to them, make it very clear, hey, don't do this, it's not okay. Then maybe punish them And then if they keep doing it, just kick them out. Don't have them at the table. It's not worth it. They don't get better. They never get better, and they never learn. Number 3, rolling for everything. Rolling to open doors. I had it where I had a dungeon master tell me I had to roll to put in a set of earplugs. This not only makes the game a slog, it is annoying. So my advice is this. When you are thinking about making a player roll, ask yourself, could I and everybody at this table easily do that if we had sound mind and body? If the answer is yes, you don't need to roll for it. If there is a legitimate chance that you could fail, such as, you're swinging a sword in the thick of things, make them roll. If you're having just a cool roleplay moment and your character is taking their sword and you're whacking a scarecrow to show a kid how an adventurer might attack an enemy, you don't need to make somebody roll for that. You're not trying to actually do damage. Let the roleplay happen. If somebody's trying to put in a set of earplugs, let them put in the set of earplugs. Even if you fumble it, you can still put the earplugs in. Number 4. Now we're getting into pretty good territory here. The DMPC. The DMPC is not always a bad thing, but the reason it has a negative connotation is because typically when you're talking about a dungeon master player character, you're dealing with a dungeon master who wants to play the game and can't. So they put in their own player character to outshine everybody else. And this has happened to me 3 times. So the first time I ever had to deal with this, a dungeon master put in a cleric. Well, this cleric was forced upon the party. Nobody wanted this cleric in the party, right? They were just kind of there, and it's like, oh, no, this cleric's joining you. You don't have a choice. They're in your party, which already off to a bad start. Don't force a NPC down your player's throat. But they did. Okay, I guess we're taking this cleric along with us. Well, this cleric derailed everything. We approached the cave. I'm like, I'm going to ritual cast detect magic because there's some fishy looking stuff. Nope, the cleric can do it. You don't need to do that. This cleric can take detect magic, so he's going to just cast it instantly. Whoa, all right. Guess there's no need for my character to shine in this moment, being that I was the only mage in the party and was originally going to do this, but sure, we'll let you shine, Dungeon Master. So they do that. Nope, nothing bad's detected. You move in. Long story short, we move through this whole dungeon, we get to the very end, and there's cultists. They have the MacGuffin. We're like, okay, we have to run in, grab the MacGuffin, and we have to stop them before they're able to just peace out because we know that they're working on this portal. So we go to do that. They roll behind the screen. Allegedly, they get first up in initiative. They put up a wall of fire across the entire room, right where we all would need to stand in order to fight the cultists. So now we have to pick not only moving through the wall of fire, but potentially actually just being forced to stand in this cleric's wall of fire. And it's like, all right, I guess we'll do that. I don't have to do that because I can attack at distance, but everybody else had to attack, Marshall. And so they're burning and taking damage. I'm blasting through the fire. It looks like it's finally turning our way, and all of a sudden, the portal opens, the cultist runs out and disappears. And it's like, okay, so there's no way we could have stopped that, and we're all now severely damaged because your DMPC decided to do something abysmal. Really? Another one, sleet storm, all over our party because there were enemies there. Oh, well, it's going to be great. No, it's not. We're all going to slip and fall. Oh, no, you'll be fine. Sleet storm. Guess what? The DMPC, of course, really high spell save. So what happens? We all fall, we all try to attack, we all have disadvantage attacking, we can't hit anything, only the DMPC can shine. Another one, Druid DMPC. This Dungeon Master doesn't play with the move through allies rule. What happens? Turns into a large-sized creature, sits in a doorway, none of us can move through the creature this Dungeon Master has created, the bad guys get away. I don't know why It seems like every time I've played with all but one Dungeon Master, all of the DMPCs or NPC allies you get are just awful. The easy solution: first, give players the option of taking along your DMPC. Second, if you're going to do something like Cleric, give them buff spells, give them healing spells, and make that their job. Nobody is going to complain about having Bless put on them and having an extra D4 to their attacks. Nobody is going to complain that somebody is healing them when they're down. You know what people don't like? They don't like it when they whittle down the bad guy and you come along with your DMPC and you finish him off and you're like, oh, isn't my DMPC really cool? No, your DMPC isn't cool. They're annoying and they just totally stole the grand moment of success. So, allow your players to tell your DMPC what it is they want them to accomplish. Don't make the DMPC shine over your players, and maybe give your DMPCs buffing powers. That's how you run them. Don't steal cool moments from your players, and don't push your players into doing things you want them to do instead of what they want to do. Number 5, the assumptive Dungeon Master. Oh my goodness. One of the annoying things is trying to accomplish something. This is kind of what I'm going for, and the Dungeon Master assuming something completely wrong and then making that canon. An example would be, there was a trap where there were a bunch of these large tiles on the ground. If weight was applied to them, they would fall. So the idea was, if you're not careful and you step on the wrong one, that you will fall and you'll die. I was playing a wizard, and so I said, oh, I would like to take the staff I have and I would like to press on the tile. Okay, roll. Kind of going back to that whole roll for everything mentality. Well, I'm not really attacking it. Nope, roll. Okay, I rolled the die. Oh, you roll a 19. Okay, yeah, you take your staff and you just smash it as hard as you can on this tile and it shatters and it falls. All right, I wasn't trying to do that. Well, that's what you did. You rolled. That right there is assumptive and kind of forceful. You have a player who's obviously not trying to smash the tile. They're trying to check for traps, kind of the old school, like 10-foot pole style thing. And if you are trying to convey that that's not going to work, you can do that, but trying to force your player into then rolling an attack when all they're doing is just gently poking something, that's not cool. The solution is communication. Double check and honor what the player is trying to do. So if the player says, oh, I'd like to take my staff and poke at the body, see if that body's awake, don't make it an attack roll and then they killed some innocent person who was knocked out. They're obviously trying to be careful and just double check and see if that body is dead. If they're trying to check for tiles on the floor and see if the tiles are trapped, make it so that they're trying to do that. Whether or not they succeed might be up to you, it might be up to a die roll, but don't take what they're saying purposefully out of context. Number 6. This one gets into kind of player agency territory. Also kind of stems back to the whole communication thing. Rewriting player backstories without their permission, consent, or knowledge. Oh my gosh, I had this happen. There's no reason for it. I had done the work to read the lore that the Dungeon Master had. I wrote my player character according to that lore, rolled the stats, the whole shebang, and then I got there and they completely threw out my story and rewrote it. That really bothers me. What you're saying is you have no creative value. I don't care what it is you would like to do in this game. I'm not here to be your Dungeon Master. You're here to be my player, and you better be grateful. Really not cool. The solution is very simple. Communicate. If your player writes a backstory and it doesn't fit, just tell them that. Your backstory does not work for my campaign. Here's why it doesn't work. Would you like to try changing it on your own, or would you like to work with me to change your backstory? Solution number 2. Don't give the option of backstories. Tell your player, we're going to be playing a game. I'm going to pre-generate some characters for you to choose from, and then you'll play the game. This goes back to communication, and in this case, setting expectation. If you don't have any expectation of having a backstory, no harm, no foul. If I was told, hey, what class is it you would like to play? I'll write you something, no problem. If I'm told, hey, make a character, you know, go ahead, be creative, pick everything, you know, and I do that. I go through the work of reading the lore, building the character, writing the character, and I get to your table and all of a sudden you have changed it all. That feels horrible. Don't do that to your players. Number 7, more than a railroad, a train wreck. This one is worse than railroading. 4th wall breaking. So railroads are already usually kind of not as good as full-blown adventures. However, if you know you're going into a railroad, that's not a problem. What gets really bad is when you have somebody who has set up a railroad with the expectation that you have this open world, and you get into playing that, and they have to 4th wall break. So I was playing a game where there were all these houses that were abandoned, and there were these giants, and we arrived via sea ship, and we get to this land, and we're all trying to explore these abandoned houses. The dungeon master goes, the mines, I want you to go to the mines. There's nothing in any of these houses. There's nothing in any of this land. There's nothing here for you to do or explore. You have to go to the mines. It's like, okay, if you didn't prep, that's okay. You should probably try and make something up as you go, improv a little bit. But if you can't bring yourself to even do that, then just skip some of that section. Or just let the players play out that section if you can't skip it. So in our case, just let them look through the houses. Tell them, no, you know, there's, you don't see anything in this one. You see a bunch of broken tools. In this one, you see some broken swords and armor. And then slowly as they realize there's nothing there, they'll naturally move to the only other location in this railroady campaign, which is the mines. If you 4th wall break, you shatter any illusion that there's more to this world. And the more times you do that, the more it accumulates. You go through this passage and you see, you know, you see a tunnel to your right and you see a tunnel to your left and you see a tunnel to your middle. Oh, okay, well, we'll go down the right tunnel. There's nothing down the right tunnel. You'll want to go to the middle tunnel. It's like, okay, why did you bother describing that? You know, like, it was that the whole time. And it was a bunch of procedural generation. And it wasn't even procedural generation that was done ahead of time. We all sat there waiting for all these dice rolls that didn't even amount to anything. So it was a waste of our time. There was a complete shattered illusion of any sort of larger world. And, you know, it was railroading, but it was unexpected railroading, and it was the 4th wall break too that really just kind of sapped. It was a complete shattering of the immersion. If you are running a railroad campaign, be upfront with your players. They'll probably want to play anyway, especially if one of them is a dungeon master who almost never gets to play. Let them know, hey, just so you know, I don't have a lot of time to prep. This is pretty linear. If you're okay with that, we can play it. If not, then I will need more time. And then the players can go, oh, okay, it's get the story, go to the first location, discover what we need to, move to the second location, and finish the one shot or the prelude to the main campaign. What you don't want to do is advertise it as a full-blown adventure, and then it's not only a railroad, but when your players are trying to explore even within that really narrow scape of the railroad, you then tell them that they're wasting time and that they shouldn't be doing that and that they should be doing this because this is the right thing to do. But these are some of my personal pet peeves and bad experiences. I want to know, what are your bad experiences? Tell me in the comments section below. I want to know what game masters have done to wrong you or ruin your fun playing these games. I'm very curious because I've heard online some serious horror stories. They don't even have to be horror stories. They can just be things that detracted from your fun and things you would have done differently. Or things that you experienced and maybe you want to know what could be done differently. I might have to do a video on that in the future. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. If you do, consider subscribing with that notification bell and maybe leaving a like. Or if you really didn't like my rant, maybe a dislike. Either way, I hope to see you in future videos. If you would like to check out the Etsy store with a lot of really cool minis, perfect for either Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, or Shadow Dark, take a look in the description below for a link. The music used in this video will be included in the description as well.